Just making sure everything's going live. Okay. I show it live. So I make sure that the audio is working from the new microphone. Okay, I got an ad, so I guess I've gone live. We'll see. Okay. I'm just going to tap this a couple times, so apologies. So, okay, so it is working. Okay. Yeah, so this is the new microphone. It's just this is the case, and then there's two of these, and the backs are magnetic, so the clip comes off and you can click on. But yeah, so this is for streams now, and what a morning already. I've been out since 8 this morning, and we're running up 11:30, 3 hours. Oh, it's a busy day, but I'm happy. I'm good, so not a complaint in the world. This is my first coffee as well, so I have been caffeine free all morning. So, Paul got a line on a new apartment for me for hopefully for May. So she wanted me to go take a look at it this morning, and the guy that's had the apartment or has the apartment currently that's moving away has an air conditioner in it that he wants to sell because he doesn't want to have to take it out and do all that shit. So it's in the unit that I'm looking at. So she wanted me to go take a look and see if it's something I would be interested in. And it looks okay. So we sent a message to the landlord about it. So fingers crossed I'll be able to get it. This is going to be local living, so it's going to be interesting for me. But I'm up for it. You know, it's something I've ever wanted to do. So yeah, I was up late last night working on videos and applying for work and stuff online. So I was just up really late, and then I was sleeping in this morning. I got a message at 8 o'clock from Sopal saying, "Hey, honey, do you want to go see the apartment?" I'm like, "Oh shit! Oh god!" So I just got up out of bed, pulled my hair back, brushed my teeth, threw on clothes, washed my face, out the front door, and here I am. Well, I didn't have coffee, didn't have breakfast, didn't have anything this morning, so I was running on empty this morning. But I feel good now. Let me see here. Hey, Andy. Nice having you here, man. My apologies. I'm just double checking, making sure things are okay. Just being cautious. My apologies. I'm just double checking, making sure things are okay. The audio sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm good with this. So yeah, saw the apartment, had no coffee, had no breakfast. So I spent a little bit of time hanging out with Paul after we went and looked at the apartment. And then took a bike ride. I was going to go get breakfast. Just kind of like booting through the town. Bumped into another subscriber. So he was giving me a line on some work as well. So that was nice. And then went down and had my pork rice this morning and just had a nice little relax. And I thought, either I'm going to stop now and do the live stream, or I'd come out later and I'm like, it's already stupid hot. I better do it now because I think I'm going to be spending the rest of my day inside at the apartment, hiding from the heat. I think I've had enough. It's been getting up there. Andy, what sort of work? Teaching online stuff. Just teaching online. Work I'm applying for online, my own, is doing customer service and tech support work back in Canada. Applying for some remote jobs, seeing if I can land anything. That's kind of it's kind of difficult to get those ones. Like if you have your own stuff, I have my own computers and everything. It's not a big deal. So you usually just install the stuff. Or a lot of them want you to go in and meet their IT and bring your computer. I'm like, the fuck, I'm halfway around the fucking world. Some of them just don't get it. Hey, Patrick. So customer service stuff I can usually get away with because it's usually just installing. It's just giving. Usually, you just have to remote desktop into their terminal, and you can go, and that's not a big deal. I've got enough IT experience that I can do that with my eyes closed. So it's not, for me, that's nothing. But there's a bunch of other stuff that I can do too. So I've got feelers out to a whole bunch of stuff. Hello, Astro. Just Astro Gypsy. Love that name. You guys might be surprised where I'm at today. I was trying to figure out another place today. I was thinking, oh, should I do that again? And I was off looking, and I was thinking, I just want to get close to home. Like, all I really want to do is get close to home, have a quick stream, chat with you guys for a little bit, and then go home. I've been on a kick for the past 6 months of like making my own sodas, and like been making a ginger bug at home. And I started another one here this week, and it's going slowly. But so Paul also wanted me to make bread because she's like notices that I cook everything, and she asked me if I could make barang bread. And I'm like, yes, I can. So what I've been doing is I've made my own starter for sourdough, and that's been going on for a week, and it's finally at a point where it has the right stuff in it. So I was like, oh, this is so good. So I've got my first loaf proof. The first part of it started. So I've got it all mixed, and it's doing its first rise. It's got like another 5 or 6 hours before I can actually start baking it tonight. So I have our first loaf of sourdough bread. Just making it all from scratch. Yeah. Taste is good, even. Do I have a bread maker or an oven? No, I just have an air fryer. Just an air fryer. It's basically the same as a convection oven. So you have to cook it a little differently. You kind of cook it one side, then you flip it, and then you cook the bottom. So I know how to do it. It's not the end of the world for me. So I'm okay with it. So it'll be fine. I mean, I make scones and stuff in my bread air fryer all the time. I used to have bread makers in Canada, but they just annoyed me. I don't know. I never liked the idea of a square loaf with a rounded dome with a butthole in it. Because they had the beater thing would always be in the bottom of their bread. I'm like, this was weird. I always found that it was really noisy for no reason. So I was like, yeah, air fryers are great. And it's not going to be on for terribly long. So that's why I'm doing this at nighttime, so that I give myself, all day for it to proof. And I'll bake it off this evening, and have the aircon on this evening for a little bit. So Paula said she's going to pop over after she's done work tonight around 6 to check in on me. She was worried on me because I was like looking really tired this morning. I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted. I haven't really slept. I said that I was deep in sleep when I got the message from her. He was like, do you want to come over? I figured, maybe 11 or 12 is, I never expected anybody hey, you want to come see an apartment at 8 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, so, but it was good. Yeah, the guy that's living there is moving to Phnom Penh for work. And just simple, very simple room. Just a square room with a little extra room in the back for a little kitchen. And then there's the wet room for the bathroom. And, nice little area, good cross breeze outside. Everyone keeps their doors open, there's screens on your door. fine by me. So, and the price will be right too. So, just a negotiation phase for everything, and it'll be all good, and I'll be happy. Well, I'm happy anyway. I don't get unhappy. Yeah. Yeah. Yesterday I was going to do live streams, but I didn't. I ended up meeting with 2 different subscribers yesterday that wanted to meet up. I had a meeting in the morning for lunch and coffee. So we met around 11, and that ran till about 1:30ish, and then I ran to the next meeting, and no, it wasn't around 1:30. It was 1 o'clock. So then I went home. Next meeting was at 2, and I got there a little bit early. So I changed my shirt 3 times yesterday. It was so hot. I'm still just on my bicycle, still just doing the bicycle thing. Bob's giving me shit for it. She's like, "Oh, you've got the motorcycle, you should drive it." I'm like, "I don't feel like driving it. I don't like it. I prefer my bicycle, to be honest. Plus, I've got a lot of weight to lose, so I just want to, give me my exercise in the daytime and I'm good. I need to do more in the night, but I haven't been able to do the evening bike rides as much yet, but I'm going to start that this week. It's on the plans. So, but yeah, I am tired today. I will admit that I'm beat. I love meeting the folks. I love having the coffee and the conversations, but they can be exhausting. And it probably wouldn't be as much for most people, but with me being mostly an introvert, like I'm fine around people. I'm good with it. I know a lot of introvert people, like, they need the distance or else they'll freak out. I've been really good about being able to, like, put on that facade and meet people, but that maintaining that can be exhausting at times for me, where I can get a little overwhelmed that I'm like, I just need to take a break, And nobody's ever been like pushy or, when the conversation's done, it's done. Everyone's fine. So hopefully I haven't really freaked anybody out with being introverted, or, I hope I never let anybody feel like I've been trying to run away, because I'm not. But when I'm done, I'm just like, oh, okay, I need a break. And it's the weirdest thing. Like, I shouldn't feel that way. These people are just genuinely interested, and they want to meet up, and they want to talk about, what's like being in Cambodia. They've decided to come here. So, I mean, it's all great stuff. There's not a part of those conversations that freak me out, but my brain just is like, I want to hide in the corner. Like, when I was a kid, we moved all the time, and I'd go to school for the first time, the new school, and my God, I don't mind going to new schools. It never bothered me. I hated the first day, because you get into class and they're like, "Oh, we've got a new student. Here's Sean. He's from blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh God!" You're standing in front of all these people you have never met before. Everyone's just looking at you. You're like, "Oh shit!" And even as a child, I was saying, "Oh shit!" Trust me. And that's when you hoped that the only seat available in the room was in the back. So it was me and the stoners sitting in the back of the classroom. They were always too big to ever have a conversation, so I was always fine. But every now and again, you'd get stuck in the middle of the classroom and be like, "Oh God!" And, the kids are poking at you. What's it like there? Like. And the only saving grace was that I only had to deal with them for a few months, because I knew I was moving again. We moved so much. Shop Jumpu. Love that name too. Quite hot recently. Damn right. Let's see what the weather says today. Now that I got my iPhone up and running. I don't. I'm not running it. Not doing anything. Weather. Okay. 33 right now. Getting wind gusts today, which is nice. Precipitation. Jesus Christ. Andy, I live 30 kilometers from where I was brought up. Yeah, I know a lot of folks that are like that too. I'm not. I am I'm far, far away from where I was born. Trying to think. Like almost opposite side of the world. Pretty close. So yeah, it feels like 33. UV index of 10. That's great. Humidity is 56%. It was up from 40% the other day, so that's why I'm feeling it. Dew point is 23 degrees right now. Yeah, and it's going to go up overnight to 80%. No thanks. No thanks. Yeah, you know what's funny is like when you mentioned like subordinate. I have no idea what you're. I'm not a sub to anybody, so. But if you want to subscribe, that's cool. But growing up and living in the same area is such a foreign concept to me. Because, like, I moved so many times as a kid, like, I don't know really what home is. Like, living in Siem Reap for as long as I have, I've moved like 5 or 6 times since I've been in Cambodia. Different apartments and stuff, but I don't want to really move far from here at all. Like, I'm fine staying in Siem Reap, I'm good. But yeah, as a kid, it was like we moved all the time. And if we weren't moving, we were in the car going somewhere. Like our vacations we never really flew, we drove. We flew a few times, but the majority of the time that we went anywhere, we hopped in the car and drove for days. And we drove from Calgary to Florida. I think that was like a 4-day drive each way. So you're on your vacation for Christmas time, and you get 3 weeks off. A whole week of that spent in the car driving from Calgary to Florida. It was fucking crazy. But that slow pace travel is kind of like what I dig. Flying over here, there's no option to drive here. So I knew flying was what I was going to do. But now that I'm here, I try to stay out of the air as much as possible. I was reading this morning while I was having breakfast that in the States that the airports look like they're going to be shutting down soon because the TSA agents haven't been paid for a month. So they might have to shut down the airports because there's nobody to work security, like the TSA agents. They can't be paid. They're not earning. It's insanity. I just don't understand that. You're a government worker, basically, and you can't get paid because of all the stupid going on. And I'm not a huge fan of the TSA agents anyway. Being me with long hair, I have been singled out every single time I cross the fucking border going into the States. I can't tell you how many cavity searches I've had throughout my life. So there was I knew early that I had no interest in any illicit substances because I was already like marked just because of the way I looked. So yeah, there's no love lost between me and the TSA at all. But yeah, the fact that there's no money, the budget's up for debate. I'm like, I get the politics of the debate. I'm not second guessing that, but the part that boggles my brain is like, this whole thing about don't have money for this and that, but how many millions of dollars a day are being spent on this, war? I'm like, and that's the thing. Like, regardless of of who's president or anything. There's always money for war, but there's never money for things that benefit the people. Never made sense at all, ever. Well, my grandfather was the one that told me about that. Andy, news: airports are so crowded because of lack of staff in the U.S. and lack of tourists. And I saw too, which I think is kind of funny. The only price drop that's happened there recently is if you want to leave the United States, you want to give up your citizenship. It used to cost something like $4,000. They dropped the price down to $500. I was like, so, I wonder how many people are going to take them up on that one. Because I mean, for years, I've heard, oh, if XYZ gets put in office, I'm going to move to Canada. And like I've heard that since I was a kid. Good morning, Tim. So yeah, I just thought I saw that one. I just giggled. I'm like, of all the things to drop the price on, giving up your citizenship, good on you. I guess if you give up your citizenship, you can't vote and make any changes, right? So, but yeah, I've met so many people that have just become disillusioned with living in the West. Politics is one part, but the majority is just constant living. It's funny too. Is like I'm looking at jobs here, like teaching online, that $8 to $12 an hour. And back home, you wouldn't really want to even look at those, but here, okay, $10 an hour, I can work, 20 hours a week, $10 an hour. Okay, I can do that. It's $200 a week. It's $800 a month. I have a little bit saved over. I'm good with that, Or if I want to work 40 hours, I got double that, It's just silly. Swan Song, yeah, it is gorgeous here. This is one of my favorite little areas. Astro Gypsy, it's just gotten so dark and negative here. A cloud of hopelessness, yeah. And I understand that. I lived in that myself in Canada before I left, and I was feeling that oppressive feeling of hopelessness. That you just kind of felt like there was nothing you could do or say that was going to affect anything. You couldn't make anything good happen. Even having a smile on your face, walking around town, people were like, looking at you like you're the crazy one because you're trying to be positive. It's just, everything was like, what I felt like was, if you ever like watch Snoopy, and there was that one kid, Pigpen, that had like the dust cloud around him all the time. That's kind of how it felt every time I was out. Andy, do you have to do a course online to teach English there? No, I have my certificates already. I've got my TESOL and my TOEFL, so I got those ages ago. But you don't necessarily need them here, and you don't need them for online. Sometimes they'll do some of the places will give you like an aptitude test of your ability to speak English and stuff. It's easy. Not like if you're an English speaker, you're fine. Astro Gypsy, I got a lot of good people, and we're good. But generally, it's like invisible pressure on folks. That I hear. Do I go dig some gems? I could. Swan Song, do I have any pets? No, I don't. Tim, don't worry, Australia is no better. Cost of living going through the roof. Average house price has gone over $1 million. That sounds exactly like Canada, except our cigarette prices were $20 a pack instead of $50. So, go figure. Canada's better on one thing. But yeah, I mean, I had a shitty, shitty studio apartment. It had decent enough views, but big plain glass windows. And it was basically the roof of a garage that had been converted. Cold in the winter, hot in the summer, and I was paying around $1,000 a month for the apartment. Plus, I had to add my internet and TV and my cell phone bill. By the time I got done, it was close to $1,200. Then you had food on top of it. It just got nuts. Swan Song. My twin brother lives in Ontario, Canada. He's always depressed. I hear you. Yeah. I see you guys are chatting, Andy and Tim. That's awesome. Yeah. There are parts of Ontario that, well, I can't say that. The last time I was in Ontario was living in Toronto. I lived in the Junction, which is a part of the city. And that was during the peak COVID. And it was okay, you know. It's kind of like a mixed area, a lot of immigrants. The best part, there was a Asian market just down the street, which I could go shopping at, which made me happy. Because in the pandemic, I didn't want to walk too far, so I could mask up, walk, a kilometer and a half, go to this gigantic Asian market, and I could get all the foods I liked. Before I even moved here, I loved Asian food, so it's been in my system for a long, long time. Swan Song, I tried to get my twin to move with me to Oregon. He never did, even though he said he wanted to. That happens to some folks, you get kind of set, like, okay, I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. Then you're just like, yeah, but then I have to, I got to change this, like, it's hard. I've been talking with Sopal, she's been in her apartment now for 4 years, and she doesn't want to change either. It's been her home, all of her neighbors are family to her, basically, a bunch of, mothers with their children. So, if she's working late or something's happening, or if the kids need picked up and she's working, everyone kind of pulls together and helps out. And it's lovely. Like, that community sense of family thing here is amazing. But she has no interest to move anytime soon, which is fine. I'm good with that. Swan Song, you would think he would because it's so positive and peaceful where you live. Yeah. Oregon's different, like the Northwest of the United States I liked. I liked Oregon, Washington. Trying to think. Where's Mount St. Helens? Where was that? I can remember the freaking thing. I don't remember which state it was in. Wow. You're getting old when? I never went to see it. I mean, that's part of my problem too. Let's clear that out. Mount St. Helens. We're looking. Washington, okay. That's where it is. Okay. Yeah. So Oregon and Washington, even Northern California, I liked. But again, like for me, if I wanted to live that, yeah, it is Washington, Tim. But if I wanted to live like in that area, I would just go to Vancouver, go to British Columbia, because I could be in Canada and deal with it. Swan Song, exactly. I remember that too. I was living in Calgary when Mount St. Helens erupted. And we were far enough away from it, but we did have like a thin layer of ash over everything. And it was weird too, because it looked really, really like fine dust. But then when you picked it up and rubbed it, it was coarse. And it would like grit against this. You'd think looking at it would be like rounded pieces, but these were all like really sharp. So they kind of ground and stuck against each other. So when you rubbed your fingers through it, it felt really weird. It was like, hey. That's what I remember. I was a kid. I was like 11 years old when that went off. Yeah, I was reading an article yesterday about we get snow, but only up in the mountains. It's very, very rare in the cities. Yeah. Wow, you're a kid in Indiana, Sir Gypsy, when that happened, and you even got. Yeah, I remember that. I think as far as Toronto, there was some, not as much. But even like the wildfires in Canada, like you'll have a wildfire in the West Coast, and all of a sudden the sky in New York City is apocalyptic red. I remember that there was that one wildfire that summer during the pandemic in New York City. The skies were just bright red. It looked like Blade Runner. Canada's good for some things, maple syrup, pollution, all the bottled water in America. I think Nestle's has a plant up in Northern Ontario, and the negotiations for the water was really pissed off of all the locals because it basically just destroyed the groundwater in the area. So much Aquafina. But I mean, I live off of all the water here. I mean, kind of have to here. Keep an eye on chat. Doing what I can. Oh, this little bit of a breeze feels nice. I'm thinking we're going to get some rain today. There were some clouds earlier that were really dark. Made me think we're going to get some, but you can only hope. You highly dislike the cost of postage to mail things to Canada. Mailing my twin candy is expensive. Yeah, Swan Song. I did the same, but I was sending things from Canada to family in the U.S. There's a bunch of Canadian, chocolate bars. My stepdad loved the Canadian chocolate. So that was always fun. Hello. Yeah, used to send him stuff all the time. And then send down Shreddies, which is cereal. And then, oh God, chocolate chip cookies for President's Choice, the Decadent. But this is going back into the 90s. But yeah, I love saying that stuff to my stepdad. Because he was just he was a gigantic man, 6'4", looked like a bear. And, he'd get on a Harley and make it look like a toy. Just a massive man. And, give him a Canadian chocolate bar. He's like, just like a little kid. Just such a fucking great guy. He's been gone for 2 years now. Or more now. 3. He would have been 3. Yeah. I think it was a year and a half before Mom passed. But yeah, my ex-wife and I used to send stuff down. Care packages, we'd get together. And she would also get together Swan Song. You're right. American chocolate does kind of taste like vomit. I remember what the butyric something acid, and it does have the vomit taste. I'm kind of used to it, so I don't taste it, but I understand it. I know it was there. And there was a very small earthquake in Melbourne at 4 a.m. this morning. Oh, Lord. The center was over 100 kilometers away up in the mountains. Dear God. My understanding here, there's none of that. We're in a section that we don't get any earthquakes or anything. So knock on wood. Especially M&Ms. Oh, especially M&Ms. See, we had, as a kid growing up, we didn't have M&Ms. We had Smarties, which was the Canadian version. But the Smarties in the U.S. are those little, you get them at Halloween, which is we call them rockets, but it's these little candies, little circles, and they're lined up in a plastic cellophane that's twisted on either end. Just really powdery. But yeah. Oh, you didn't feel it. Well, Andy, you're lucky. Well, when we had that big earthquake here that hit Myanmar and Bangkok, Siem Reap didn't feel it at all. Yeah, right. And the American Smarties is just sugar. They're just those. You said we call them rockets. But what's the name of it? It was called Fun Dip. It was this little package, and you'd have this stick made out of candy. You lick the stick, and then you dip it in the other pack. So there'd be like three. Sorry, it's a package that's like this wide, and it's in compartments. There'd be two larger compartments and then really narrow ones. You open up the narrow one, you get the stick. You open up the wider ones, and one would be cherry, one would be grape. So you'd lick your stick, dip it in, and then you'd pull it out. It would be covered in this powdered, like that would stick to the saliva. And you'd suck on that, and it would taste like, powdered cherries. Fun Dip, I think it was called. So good. And pixie sticks, man. Love those things. You love Tiger Tail ice cream, but they don't have it here in the States. You love black licorice. Yeah. I remember what the Black Cat was the licorice we used to get. That was black licorice. Oh, God. And you'd chew that, and your teeth would turn green because the black comes from the anise, from the licorice. So it's actually just like a bright green or a dark green. Trying to think of the other things I grew up with. Big League Chew. All the stupid shit that we had that was to get you to be addicted to shit when you got older, right? So, they had the little candy Popeyes cigarettes. It was like a white piece of candy with the red end on it, and it looked like little BBs, or little joints, and you suck on it, and you got your little candy cigarette sticking out. And he smoked a pipe. I didn't understand why they had cigarettes, but it was the worst fucking candy. It was basically a chalk, but you'd keep it in your mouth and end up it looked like a toothpick by the time you were done because it had like a pointy end. The tiny black square mint called Sen Sen. It was a perfume. I remember those. Yeah. There was what else did it? Jules. I think there's one called Jules. It was like a soap flavored candies. Some weird shit growing up. But yeah, one of the other things I liked was Big League Chew. So it was like chewing tobacco, but it was bubble gum, and it was like shredded bubble gum. You just take out a bit, threw it in your mouth, and chew like you're a baseball player. Because all the baseball players were chewing tobacco until their faces started falling off. My God. All the stupid shit. All the stupid shit. I'm trying to remember what those other ones were. There was one. It was a purple gum. I think they were Jules. And it was like a chiclet, but they were a little bit longer and like more square, and they were purple. And I think they were lilac flavored. It was the weirdest fucking thing. Was it lavender? Could have been lavender flavored gum. I'm trying to think. Now you got me thinking of freaking weird gums and candy from children. Okay, let me see. Lavender bubblegum. There it is. That's basically what I'm thinking of. That's not the same brand, but that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Purple chewing gum. Or is it violet? Thrills. That's it. There it is. That's the one I was remembering. Chocolate covered espresso beans. I'm double. Oh, I know you're speaking my language. Swan Song. I love lavender milk tea and rose milk tea. Just had a cup of it today. Never been a fan of rose anything. I blame my grandmother. So as a kid, there was a body lotion called Rose Milk, and it was the most overwhelmingly rose scented thing I've ever come across. And my grandmother used to wear it like it was her lotion, and it smelled like my grandmother, which is not a bad thing. But anytime I'd have like rose water, like you'd be cooking or doing like a history thing, and it called for rose water, I'd be like, oh. So I don't like the smell of roses or anything like that, which is really weird. But give me jasmine, I'm there all fucking day long. Love it. Love that stuff. Your grandma's boss always smelled like lilacs. Yeah, my other grandmother had lavender and lilacs. Another smell I loved was honeysuckle. Oh god, that was a great smell. Used to get that down south. And in Florida, the night blooming jasmine. Oh, we have some jasmine at my apartment here. And the other night, when Paul popped over, we had dinner together. And when she was leaving, the flowers were bloomed on the jasmine, and so she pulled some off, and she took some home, and she gave me 2 bunches. She goes, "Put these in your bed, next to your pillow." And I'm like, "Why?" She says, "Just do it." I'm like, "Okay." And I woke up in the middle of in the morning, and my room smelled of jasmine. I was like, "Oh, she got me." It was great. Avon Roll-On. Yeah, what was the there was a Avon's thing that was in Canada. It was so weird. Avon. Here we go. Yep, there it is. So, hey, Matto, what's up? I remember the Avon Roll-On, but I don't. I can't at the moment. So there was, when I lived in Prince Edward Island, we had so many problems with like biting black flies and mosquitoes, and all of the women there said, "Oh, get Skin So Soft, it works." We're like, what the fuck is this? And it was something from Avon. So this is it here, Skin So Soft, and it was just like this weird oil thing that everyone like. I guess there was one lady on the island, and she was selling it to like everybody. It made a fucking mint. And yeah, so my wife at the time, she got some, didn't do shit, and I'm wearing patchouli oil, and the bugs are staying away from me. And my ex-wife, she was like, "How come the bugs don't like you?" I'm like, "Because I'm not covering myself in Avon." Song. Eclairs. Yes. Andy, too. You guys, kill me with that. Matto, I saw you had another one today. You had a driving video from the ferry, I think I saw. I saw the title. I haven't watched it yet. I looked at things briefly before I put my head down on the pillow, and then before I knew it, I was waking up and running. Good to know that I'm not the only nutcase that's doing regular content. I worry too, because I love making like you do with like the driving videos. I think they're fun. Like I like watching them. I like making them. But my God, people don't like watching them. I don't understand it. I find it so relaxing. But again, I grew up in a car. Traveling was my thing. So like I can put on a driving video and just kind of sit there and go, "Oh, this is great. I love it. I love it." Yeah, so get back to the weird candies and things. When I left Florida once, my channel is called Positive Vintage because I share your pets antiques. There you go. I love that. Acid Gypsy. For years I wore mirror oil. Out of nowhere, I developed an allergy to it. Hives, Vomary, love the scent. Kept the monsters away. Yeah, it's wild how you can have that. Wear something for ages, and all of a sudden it's like click. Andy, would you ever buy a car there? Not even if you put a gun to my head. Not happening. The closest that I will ever get to 4 wheels will be like the golf cart things. I have no urge or interest in a vehicle like that here at all. I even was talking with Paul about it. And like I told her, it's like if you gave me a choice of my bike or the motorcycle, I'm going to choose the bike every day. They love it. And I'm just looking at my bike going, I need to get a wash. I've washed it down. It's just not taking. She's got a dog or cat back there. Yeah, I don't. I will say though that I've recently seen, not that old yet. I'll drive a motorcycle or a bike until I can't, and then I'll get something with more wheels. But yeah, I've been recently seeing these little Kias, and they're tiny little cars. They're little boxes. They're bright colors. There's like a pastel purple and pink and yellow. They're cute looking. They remind me of like a squared off look of a Volkswagen Bug, like the refresh ones, not the old ones. And the cicadas are just starting to wake up. Apparently, I can hear them. Wouldn't it be funny if it was a goat or a chicken on a leash? I honestly, I wouldn't be shocked here. The thing is, like, you don't see a lot of pets here. Oh, it's a puppy. It could have been a goat. But yeah, you don't see tons and tons of pets here. People have them, but they're like house pets. They, go around, do their thing, but there's not. You don't see a lot of leashes. You don't see people walking their dogs as much. There's a few, but not many. Meadow, 48 years driving trucks. No time to enjoy. I hear you. Yeah. Hey, Nana. And so on, song. Yeah, puppy. I agree. They're cute. Yeah, when I was seeing Sapal, she has a little cat that had kittens, and so there were 4 kittens, but only one's left. The other ones found homes. The little kitten was chewing on the spokes of my bike, thinking that it was going to win that battle. Stupid cat. So adorable little thing though. Because I come here, I constantly will take off this, for my straw, and I just put all my trash in my bag. And every week I'll clean it out and take all the garbage out and put it where it needs to go. So the little kitten was, looking at my bag that's sitting on a bench, and so I put my hand in the bag, and I was just, doing this, just popping against it with my fingers, and the kitten was like, "What?" And I pulled out the this. As I did that with the kitten, it was like, "Oh God!" Like I fed it crack. Andy, I'm guessing most small dogs are like living in apartments. Yeah. Some people have bigger ones. They have houses and stuff. Some places allow for it. Like you talk, are you pet friendly? And a lot of places are. So, but I'm just my allergies. So I'm like, Matto, you're right. Cats choose you. You don't choose them. I agree. And none of them choose me, which is fine because I'm allergic, and I can goof around with it at a distance, but I'm the guy that has a laser pointer that they're pointing it 30 feet away. That's how I play with a cat. I'm okay with that. I don't need to touch it to enjoy its presence. I'm fine with it being in the next room. Because when you've got allergies, it's the last thing you want. That's funny. There a car just drove by that had paint chips on it, chipping away. I'm looking at it, that's probably the first time I've seen that kind of damage on a vehicle here. Because most of the cars are all pristine. Yeah, the cats, you have a lot of wandering cats there. Yeah. I noticed that in the city. In Siem Reap too, when you're down in the city, there's lots of cats and dogs milling around all little restaurants and stuff. They're all looking for a place to hang out. And they're cute. But they're not looking for a place to hang out. They're looking for handouts, any food. I love this place with the tea. Hell? What in the hell?
Direct them to local food banks, pantries, or community kitchens.
What the fuck was that?
Would you like me to help you find nearby?
That was weird. I just had Gemini pop up saying that it wanted. I'm talking, and it decided that it's going to fucking AI bullshit. Trying to see if I missed anything here. Swan Song. You got a cat named Monkey and a cat named Dave. It was 28 toes. Wow. Dave was a cat girlfriend named Mouse. Monkey is jealous of Dave. I love it. Oh, I'm sorry, Andy. I put your dog down 18 months ago. 18 years old is plenty old for dog or cat. Dogs especially. Oh. I think that's like why I don't want to get pets, is because you outlive them. Parrots, though, or turtles. You know, they can outlive me. I'd happily just get like a pet tree, just have it planted. My grandfather planted trees in his backyard. Hey, Naoms. So when I was born, he planted these 2 trees in the backyard, and when I was back in New Brunswick before I left, I went to the old house, and they were still in the backyard. They were massive. So I'm like, oh, so, you know, that's what 50 years looks like on a tree. Yeah, Swan Song. I think that's one of the hardest things, is when you have to, you know, and I don't want to sound morbid or gross or anything, and just, you know, making a statement. I find that we are more prone to be looking out for the best interests of our pets. So, you know, when they're suffering from a disease or anything, you get to the point, and you know, we put them down, right? So, then they're suffering, and I'm fine with that. Don't have an issue. No suffering. I'm completely content with. But we have that emotional attachment to our pets. You know, they're our family and all that. But then when it comes to a person, that same sentiment we can't let go as easy. And I've never understood that. You know, it's like we don't want our pets to suffer, but we want our other loved ones too. I'm like, wait, what? I found that a weird dichotomy. You're not getting any more dogs after these 2. You've had them forever, but you just can't go through the heartache again. Yeah, that's like my dad and my stepmom. They've had this is their 3rd dog together. Posh 2, because they had 2 before. Yeah, and Matt, you know, your dog's coming first, and I know I'd be the same way. But the amount of traveling that I do and the amount of moving that I do, I can't put an animal through that at all. You know, because it needs stability, and I would drive them nuts. Funny, Beanie's on your table. I know Beanie is your dog now, but in my head, the beanie is a hat. Yeah, yeah. So I'm saying I understand too. I wouldn't want to go through that. And I've had, like, family members that have had dogs and stuff, and when they pass on, you know, that's hard enough. And they're not my dogs. It's funny, the dogs are always, at least in our family, like the dog's always been more of a like when the dog passed away, it's like really, really rough on everybody. But I'm trying to think, there's not many folks in our family that were cat people. I know my son and my ex-wife have cats. And I know my ex-wife had cats before I was around. So, wow, 1,800 a month on the vet bill. Wow. Yeah. I hope when they pass off that there's like these gigantic fields they get to run through and enjoy. or laser pointers for all the cats. You know, stuff to enjoy. Ugh. I watched, what was that movie? Oh, 1 second. Uh, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. I watched that last night. Um, and I really didn't get further into it. Like, I knew it was like a guy's time traveling, says he's from the future. He's there at a diner, and he wants to, get people to help him save the world. So that's all I needed to know. And I'm like, okay, man. And what a weird movie. Oh God, Swamp Song. IV treatments at home, medications every 2 weeks, blood and kidney tests, racks up, not even counting special diets. Wow. That's a lot of money for your pet. And I'm not saying it's too much at all. But we don't have health insurance for animals, which is surprising. And you'd think that the insurance industry would love to have something else to say no to and make annual money on. But anyway, yeah, this movie, you get the opportunity, and you're into some weird. Good luck, have fun, don't die. For the name, second. The name of the actor. Oh, it went to images automatically. That's my problem. Cast. It was Sam something. Sam Rockwell. I like him. He's very eccentric. I think he dances in almost every movie he's been in, but I don't remember. I don't think he did in this one. But what a weird movie. Like, I'm thinking it was going to go one direction, completely off in left field. But yeah, it's like Groundhog Day. It's the only thing I can say about it. It was fun. But if you get an opportunity to take it, watch it. It's fun. So there is pet health insurance. Okay. Wild Swan Song. I didn't know. I was just talking off the cuff. I didn't think it was a thing. I know I've heard of like travel insurance for pets, but I've never heard of it for health insurance. So, because everybody I know that has pets like spends tons. Look at that Swan Song. Your 30-year-old son got pet health insurance for the new kittens. Yeah. I'm sorry for your loss. Announce. Yeah, my grandmother. I lost one when I was 2, and the other one when I was in my late 30s. It never gets easy. Us is pet inns. But hotels for pets. Matt, am I reading that properly, or am I just putting an extra N on inns? Because I know we have like kennels, I think we call it in the States and Canada, where you can drop off your pet, and they can. We call it like the spa, so that they get dropped off for a week and get taken care of. I think it's great. My dad used to do that with his pet. There's 3 young girls on a motorcycle. One of them was screaming. You even have hospices for. Oh wow. Oh, pet insurance. Thanks, Matto. That's me being, a derp. I love how many bicycles I see here. New friend called ISO. They're hospice for pets? That just seems odd. Again, I'm not discounting it. I'm just thinking like hospice is like where they're taken care of. But I think pets get so attached to, their humans that would hospice work for them? I don't know. Or they just keep them so drugged up that they don't know where they are. Which I think that's what hospice is. Swan Song, is this the Philippines? No, I am in Siem Reap, Cambodia. You nearly fell off your chair trying to type. Congratulations! At least you didn't fall off your motorcycle trying to type. That would be awful. That'd be a horrifying thing. It was funny. Yesterday, I took the day off from doing my streams, and my dad's like, no stream today. What happened? I was like, wait, my God, do I have to do this every day, Dad? So he's enjoying the streams, which was fun. I'm enjoying them too. Okay, so hospice does home visits and comfort care. Okay, that makes sense. I'm thinking of a hospice where you drop your pet off and you go visit them by every now and away. So you're in Cambodia this time. You travel more than I do. Yeah, and Meadow, I assume when you said no fun, that means like no fun falling off your moto, which sucks. And I can honestly say once is enough for falling off your motorcycle. You don't want to ever do it again. Oh, Swan Song. I'm more than happy if you subscribed. I appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking I'm kind. Buying a dog is $500? Dear Lord. I know that there are pet places here where you could buy dogs, cats. I've seen them in Phnom Penh. I don't think I've seen a pet thing here. I've seen fish, but I've not seen dogs and cats here. Jesus Christ, I'm over an hour already. What time is it? 12:30. No wonder I'm feeling the humidity picking up here. Your daughter has a betta fish named Bennu. That's of all the fish, I like bettas a lot. They're fighting fish, the other term we have for them. Again, I would get them again, but that's too much travel. Australia and then back to Cambodia, I couldn't do that. Yeah, I've had bettas in the past, and they're great little fish. They survive almost anything, even me. There's a couple over there that are waiting on a tuk-tuk. I just saw that the guy was waving the tuk-tuk on the other side of the river. The driver was looking over like, oh shit. 6:04 in the evening, yeah. So roughly, 6-hour time difference. Betta fish is so easy to care for. I should have stuck with fish. Swan Song, yeah. Oh God. Yeah, octopus are so freaking smart too. I've always been fascinated by the octopi. The ones that figure out how to like unlock things from inside so they can get out and do things. Like, nothing stupid about those things. Oh, Niam. So I figured that you were talking about the time in Australia. Yeah, 13 years of and 11, that's a long time to have a pet. Like, they are family for sure. Any trouble? I have a fish pond in the backyard, goldfish, big one. Oh, one's over 10 years old. That's wild. Oh, just saw one of those little cars, little Kias, that little square thing. It just was driving that way. That's the only other car I think is interesting here. Oh, the tuk tuk driver got here. Couple is getting into the ride. I like koi. They're fun. You'll see the tuk tuk drive here in a second. Oh, he's doing turnaround. You won't see him. Oh, well, I should be going here because it's been an hour. It's 12:30, and I need to get on my bike, get home, turn on my AC, take a cold shower, or shower. You know, it's not really cold water, and try to get a nap in before the rest of my day gets ahead of me. I have more applications to do, and I am making rice paper sausages for dinner tonight. Same idea as the dumplings, but I'm going to, it's ground pork, veggies, and vermicelli noodle I'm going to put in. I'm going to use a whole sheet I'm going to wrap them with egg wash, and then I'm going to put them in the air fryer tonight. So I got a Napa cabbage for it too, and bean sprouts. So I'm looking forward to, basically it's going to be like a spring roll / egg roll in rice paper. So, Andy, I have a wire cover over it to stop birds from getting a free meal. I can understand that, because the birds don't care. Yeah, definitely a smart idea. Anyway, I'm going to head off. Thanks so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out today. And Swan Song, thank you so much for the subscription. Appreciate it. Probably try to do this again tomorrow. We'll see how life is. I may take the day off. I have been threatening that I'm going to take a whole day off for myself. May do that. But yeah, thanks so much for coming out. And if you like the content, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all in our next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.